Today we take a look at Seachem's premium line of aquarium supplements especially made for planted tanks. That's coming right up. Hey YouTube, this is pecktec. Welcome back. You know, originally today's show was going to be a what's inside your cabinets. I was going to open up the cabinets and just going to go through all this stuff that I've accumulated through the years, because some of these cabinets have like some crazy stuff inside. But I rediscovered these chemicals that I actually won at a raffle at the Big Fish deal 2 years ago. Not this past year, but the year before that. I put in about 15 tickets. For $15, I ended up with this whole line of Aquavitro premium planted aquarium supplements. I tend to keep things really, really simple, and by that I mean I barely add any supplementation to the tanks, especially lately. I have, in the past, I've added a little bit more, a little bit less, but I've not really gone all in on stuff like this. And of course, I got this bag of Aquasolium at the Customer Appreciation Day sale, and it falls right in line with all this stuff, so I thought I'd include it too. Last thing I'll talk about is these things, which if you're like me, will make dosing things like this just that much easier. So with this first bag here, we have Aquasolium, and this is a product that's sort of comparable to the Fluval Stratum or the ADA Aqua Soil. I, of course, have not done part-by-part breakdown of what one thing has and one thing doesn't, but it is what's called a soil-based substrate. That means when you first put it in, you're probably going to get a spike in ammonia. That's something to keep in mind with this type of substrate. That being said, this grows plants like crazy, or the other kinds do. I'm hoping that this works in a very similar way to the ADA Aqua Soil that I kind of have trouble getting here. I have to mail order it. It'd be nice to be able to go to the store and pick this up. But this is a lightweight and porous substrate that's made from humate. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And it does tend to lower the pH. This is something you might want to consider for a shrimp tank. Of course, like I said, you're not going to be able to throw shrimp in right away. You're going to want to let this set for a little bit, let it kind of go through its cycle, and wait till that ammonia spike is gone. But in the end, you'll end up with a tank that might be more conducive to keeping shrimp, and that's pretty neat. This bag retails at my store for around $18. One thing that's unique about these products is you can't just get them online anywhere necessarily. I'm sure you can somewhere, but for the most part, these are made to be sold in specific stores, and there are arrangements with stores that have to be made before you can sell this. So you won't just find it anywhere, but if you go on their website, they've got a link of places that sell their products. Okay, we're going to start all the way on this side with the first product, which is called Synthesis. Synthesis is a chemical nitrogen supplement for your aquariums. Now, if you've got some symptoms like plants with like a really heavy root system but still seem kind of stunted or growing really slow, this is the kind of thing that you might want to add. Of course, this product is unique because it provides nitrogen from 3 different sources, half of which is urea. So that's interesting. Now, of course, when you use this at the same dose with our next product, which is Activate, you get nitrates and phosphorus at a 5-to-1 ratio. So Activate is a phosphorus supplement. That's another macronutrient that plants need. And this is meant to be sort of a pure phosphorus source that will enhance the growth of your plants without maybe adding so much algae. And of course, disclaimer, while you're dialing in and getting the perfect dosage for your plants and stuff, there's going to have to be a lot of playing around, because you could initiate an algae bloom by adding a lot of extra nutrients. So just keep that in mind. Now, this is made from potassium salts of various phosphates, so it's actually a source of potassium as well. Of course, our next product is Envy. Make your plants green with Envy. This is a comprehensive carbohydrate, vitamin, amino acid, and polyunsaturated fatty acid supplement for plants. That's a mouthful. This gets a lot of its power from an algae called Chlorella. This algae is very high in vitamins and minerals, and including the full B complex. Okay, so our next product is called Propel. Propel is an iron supplement, and it contains the phosphorus iron, and it actually has a mixture of readily available and time-released formulas. So it's not just dumping all that iron into your tank at the same time. Some of it can be used right away, and some of it's stashed for later. So if you've got stems on your plants that seem like too short and slender, or if you're noticing that your leaves are turning a little bit yellow, you might be short on iron. I've added iron quite a bit to my tanks in the past. Okay, next up over here we have Mineralize. This is a supplement that raises the general hardness in your tank. There are a couple of different reasons you might use this. Maybe you've got RO water and you want to put some minerals back in. Maybe you've got your tank really well balanced and you actually don't have to change the water that often. Maybe it's all plants and like almost no fish. But you don't want to just add water. You need to add back some of those minerals too. This might be a good option for that too. Just guessing. I've seen a lot of discussions lately, especially around aquaponics and stuff, talking about remineralizing the water versus the whole water change. But there may be situations where you want to adjust the hardness, you want to bring the hardness a little bit up in your water, and that's good for general hardness. So of course next we have Carbonate, which is a carbonate hardness supplement. Now the big thing to know about carbonate hardness is it affects the stability of your pH. You might be in a situation where your pH fluctuates quite a bit, such as people that use pressurized CO2, or you could just have low carbonate hardness in your water right out of the tap and thus problems with your pH fluctuations. If you've got a problem with a rapidly fluctuating pH, this might be something to consider. Of course, you want to test first to make sure that it's not some other problem, but that's kind of what this was made for. So if you've got carbonate hardness issues, Carbonate is your friend. It's your friend! Okay, and last but certainly not least is Premier. Premier is a water conditioner, very similar to Prime, but especially made for planted aquariums. Now, Premier is a concentrated solution of potassium trisulfite, which removes both chlorine and chloramine. It also has a unique property of turning chloramine into a form of ammonia called ammonium. That ammonium is quickly absorbed by plants and provides another source of food right there in your dechlorinator. Okay, so this, of course, is going to go into the 20-gallon, I think. I think I'm going to use this stuff. And these things, at least some of these things, I'm going to use them for a little while, and I'll tell you exactly what I decide to use. I'm not too sure if I need to change my carbonate or general hardness or anything, but I'd like to see what this Envy does, and maybe these things too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a regiment with my tanks, probably the 55, and I might even do a low light tank just to see if it helps anything. Maybe like the Flex or something like that. And also I'd like to do the zombie head tank too. So I'm going to pick at least 3 tanks, smaller ones and a bigger one, and we'll see if it makes any real difference. So I'll do a follow-up to this show, maybe 2 months, maybe a quick Wednesday show or something like that, and we'll compare the tanks and see if after 2 months we should be able to see something, if it's going to really do much. The other thing I wanted to talk about was these sprayers, which is not an Aquavitro product at all. I actually got these white ones in my aquarium box, and I was like, wow, that's really strange. I hadn't thought about doing that before. One thing I've always disliked about dosing my aquariums is trying to measure a cap full of something. And although these caps are kind of neat and like a little bit more spill proof, the smaller ones with the little tiny caps are really a pain in the butt. So what I thought would be really smart is just to switch out my caps with these little guys. So on the ones I choose to use, what I'll probably do is I'll take the cap, I'll attach the sprayer, I'll spray in there, and I'll get an idea about how many squirts it takes. At that point I could just take a Sharpie and write on the side what tank it's going into and how many squirts, and it makes the whole process super, super easy. I've been using this cap with my Excel, and it's worked great. It's made it a lot simpler. A lot easier than especially because I tend to dose early in the morning, right before I go to work, before the lights come on. And I was having to pour that cap and I was always spilling it, especially the clear ones. They're kind of hard to see. But with this, I know how many squirts I want in each tank, and I do it a lot more often. One thing to note too in this line of products, you'll notice that there aren't any replacements for Flourish Excel. That's because they decided it was perfect just the way it is. And this is still the preferred CO2 supplement if you're going in the liquid form, which can be easier and cheaper in the short run. It's definitely easier to control the amount that you get, but you've got to be there to put it in unless you've got some sort of automation around it. But I definitely recommend these as just a little bit of a time saver, just a little tip. I'm hoping making things just a little bit easier makes me a little bit more inclined to actually want to do it. That's all I got for you today, folks. Just a quick one this week. I'm rearranging aquariums so that I can fit that 20-gallon in this room someplace. I've got it behind my desk right now. I don't think I like it there. But, so I'm going to do a little bit of rearranging. Hopefully we'll get that 20-gallon started soon. I'll be doing at least some of the build out, maybe of the trees and stuff on a live stream. I don't know if that'll be this week or next week. Of course, I'm going to the beach really soon, so if I'm lucky enough to be able to have an extra video prepared, what I'll do is I'll just put up a video to be released Sunday. If not, I might do a live stream from down there or something, and that'll just have to be my weekend video. Now, whether it be Saturday or Sunday that I publish, I haven't missed a weekend in a little over 2 years. You know, pretty solid. So I'm not looking to do that on vacation. I'll figure something out. Promise. And be sure to comment down below if you've used any of these products. What are your experiences? Do you think they're worth a little bit of extra cash? Do you think they're like the regular line is good enough and you don't need this extra stuff? I'd be curious to know down below. So until next time, follow your bliss, fertilize those plants, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Not looking to do that. Today, folks, hello, today we take a look at Seachem's. Today we take a look at Seachem's premium line of. This gets a lot of its power from an algae called chlorella.